Again, if you, that's always very ominous. Come on, okay. Always, come on, people. 7:30. We gotta get going here.
Hey, Alan, we can have a commercial for the fall classes.
Absolutely. Well, I've got Nell gave me this nice little list.
Okay.
If you don't know Metal Arts Guild of Georgia, we kind of started in '98 as a 501c4, which was a membership organization. We said, why don't we start instead of going away to workshops, we'll have people come to Atlanta and teach us in our own, and we started doing taking over church halls in various places and brought all the equipment in, and we did wonderful workshops with some really great people. Some people would come back year after year. John Cogswell was one of our, and Gene Stark came to us almost every year, plus a lot of other great artists would come and do workshops for us. In 2015, we decided we want to do more activities and more outreach, so we reincorporated again as a 501c3, so we are nonprofit. We love donations and would love you to support us because we're all volunteers. And we're trying to keep the doors open and trying to keep a lot of great activities going on at MAG. So we are at the website. Please don't press the donate button and give us help us out to again keep our costs down as far as we can. Help us keep the doors open. Help us keep all this wonderful workshops and good information going on. We've got a great, robust schedule of workshops. Joan, you want to just jump in and just say well, besides Peter, of course, we got Peter Gilroy coming up, and we're really looking forward. I'm going to be assisting in that workshop here, plus online. And then, Joan, I don't have the list in front of me of who else we have coming. So you want to say something about that?
I'm going to give you a plug for Peter because I actually flew to Rio Grande and took a class from Peter. And that was when I was really interested in a press, but was too paranoid to buy one without taking a class. And it was great because I felt like after the class, I was comfortable enough to, move forward on my own. So it was really neat to think that Peter's coming to Atlanta to see us. And then now with the world of being virtual, you can literally take the class virtually. So it's a great opportunity without having travel expenses for us from Atlanta to be able to do that. But we do have a very robust schedule. And the thing that's getting ready to start right now is we're in the middle of registration for classes that will kick off in the fall. And we have Regina in here. She's one of our teachers. But we have an excellent group of instructors. We're doing lots of beginner to advanced, all different levels. And we have expanded the days in which we're teaching. So we're pretty much teaching almost 7 days a week, which really helps people who are working or have different schedules. So we're really excited about that. If you're kind of in the 50 to 60 mile area of Atlanta, you could take advantage of any of our classes. But our workshops, we have a robust schedule of workshops. If you go on the website, you'll be able to see all the different people that are coming or teaching virtually. So just as Peter's class, we have people that are, we have 12 in studio seats. So if you learn better, one-on-one, you could sign up for a in-person class, or you could sign up for a virtual class if it's travel makes it difficult for you. But the great thing about our classes, our workshops, is that we have them online for 30 days. So you can watch them repeatedly. You can go to sleep with them. You can do whatever it takes to really get that information in. But you just go to the metalartsguildga.org and you'll see all the classes and things that we have coming up. So
great. Let's see, workshop classes. Also, we're doing open studios in our studio. Martha Fitzmere, who's on, helped me find the building in 2015. So we stopped doing our basement and church building workshops, and we have our own building. with a wonderful equipped studio, and we've got 4 private studio members, and then we have Dallas Vincent, who is our vendor for jewelry, tools, and materials, and so he's in our building on Buford Highway. So Martha, who is on, also has some of the people are going to be attending Peter's workshop in her studio in Wisconsin. Will be taking and using her equipment in her studio. So it doesn't, if you sign up for the workshop, maybe everybody who's signed up for the workshop, but they're going to be sharing her equipment there to be working on the workshop. So does anybody have any questions for me and Mag or anything like that right now? Okay. Joan Barnes is one of our, I don't see anybody else who's on the board. She's one of our wonderful board members, a volunteer who really helps keeps us organized and keeps us running. My heart goes out to our board who really all volunteers who kind of keep the organization going, and we're very, very happy with what we're doing. So let me introduce Peter. I'm not going to say too much about him because he's going to basically introduce himself. If you've gone to his website and you see that his personal work is very interesting. It's engine turned, a lot of titanium and things like that. But he is also a principal of Bonnie Doon. So this workshop is specifically about what a press is going to be doing and what presses can do, and he's going to do a bit of a demonstration for us. So I'm going to wind up muting everybody and then spotlighting his camera so he can give a demonstration. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. In fact, I've got 4 chats here that I haven't seen. Hope anybody's not having any trouble. Dorset. Yes, Dorset, UK. I think that's the furthest one we have. Somebody's at the beach. Joan is at the beach in South Carolina. Okay. So what? You're no waves in the background, Joan? No seagulls? What is this? So anyway, let me turn it over to Peter and let me spotlight him if I can remember how to do it. I think I can. There he is. All right, introduce yourself, Peter, and show us, maybe pan around your wonderful workshop. I looked at your video. Peter's got a great video online that really, he tours his studio, and he's got so many wonderful toys that it's amazing, and I'm really jealous. So
yeah, they're tools, not toys, right? But yeah, and I've actually moved since that video came out, so this new shop's even better. But yeah, I'm Peter Gilroy, and yeah, little backstory on me. I grew up in the jewelry studio of my uncle Phil Poirier. So yeah, I've been rolling pennies through rolling mills since I was, the short little kid. And when he was working on his hydraulic press and making dies and kind of coming up with deep draw and doing all that stuff, I got to grow up around all of that. Yeah, never wanted to be a jeweler. And then I've been now been a jeweler professionally for about 13, 14 years now. And kind of made my way back into the industry. Part of what actually got me started in this was I worked as a machinist for Bonnie Doon Tools. So my uncle Phil Poirier, he purchased Bonnie Doon back in 2005, moved it from California here to Taos, New Mexico, which is where I am. And somewhere around 2009, I started working as a machinist, running big old machinery, making tools, got all this stuff in the back. I was making all that stuff, and that started, my creative journey. I'd already been an artist for years. So it sort of got me back excited about metal and working in that. And metal is incredible. There's so many techniques, so many things to learn. I'm always excited to, kind of be learning new things and developing new techniques, making new dyes, on and on and on. So it's a really exciting, industry to be part of. And now, as of last year, I also am running the Bonnie Doon business, making presses, developing new tools. We've got, got a whole bunch of stuff here. Got some really fun new tools, new dyes and stuff like that. So I'm excited to share all about the hydraulic press, tonight, and then as well also in the class. It's really like an incredible fundamental part of all the work I do, and just adds so much potential to anybody's work or anybody's individual techniques. So that little bit about me. I guess, and Alan, let me know.
No, I think you can move right in to show us what you're going to show us. So it's like your hat. We were talking about your hat, and that's not metal, but
am I getting focus here? That's actually leather that was pressed on the hydraulic press with a custom brass die I made. So that was kind of a fun thing that I've been working with other materials. Embossing paper and leather works really well. And I'm sure there's tons of other opportunities out there. It's just got to have more time to play around. But what I can do too is I've got an example of just some jewelry here. And since we're kind of talking about the class that I'll be teaching, that we're in that class primarily focusing on forming, which is very extensive. Everything from hollow forms, beads, people making teapots with hollow forms with some of the techniques we'll be learning, and then forming things such as bracelets. And let me know if you guys can see this stuff well, but here is an engine turned silver cuff. Block my face with it.
You want to explain the guilloche or engine turning to people? We're not going to be doing that, but could you explain that to us a little bit?
Yeah, we're not going to be doing that, and I don't have all night, but I will show you the machine real quick. It's this amazing machine. This is from about 1910, and it's basically a small lathe that you're doing an engraving technique with these rosettes. There's some really good videos out there. Go follow G. Phil Poirier on Instagram, and he's got a bunch of different stuff about these machines. But it does really amazing rosette engraving, kind of ornamental engraving. Fabergé is probably the most famous of the people who utilized that technique. And that is what this whole sunburst in here is. So, some of the other work I do with a lot of titanium. So this is an 1/8 of an inch thick titanium bracelet. I don't know if everybody can see that well, but part of what I really love about the press is I can work in any material, any thickness that I want to. Super fine, delicate stuff. It actually forms better than with a hammer, or really, I don't know if anybody's worked with stainless steel, titanium. It's really not fun. Hydraulic press makes it very easy to work with. And then, I'm not sure if everybody can see, these are some rings, but some nice, really thick gauge rings, overlay and complicated pieces. And so this is, a couple pieces here that I've made. If you guys kind of can see, there's a theme going on here. I'm a rock climber and a skier and a mountain biker. So a lot of my work kind of takes on a theme of the mountains, and of we have incredible mountains here in Taos and stuff like that. So that's sort of what inspires me in a lot of my work is it's kind of some abstract mountain bracelet here, or there's a Grand Canyon topography ring. So this is titanium. So really, this with the press is really easy to form, easy to make. would be very difficult to do by hand. I've tried it. It's not easy. And then, yeah, here's some other fun stuff to show you using dies, steel dies on the press. So this is really thick. I think this was like 8-gauge silver, and actually made this little coin pendant here. Mountains on one side and waves on the other. So that's kind of a fun. I was just playing around one day and made this. And then there's a lot of textural work that I do with, again, steel dies. There's a little pendant with this granite texture. Again, I'm not sure if you can all see that well.
Just a little closer. Get a little closer.
Kind of goes out. Oh, there you go. Does it focus? There, now it focuses. So yeah, that's a die that, you know, we won't get into the super specifics of making steel dies, but we do get into some of the techniques that kind of lead to that. And it's something that can be done actually very easily in your studio, with relatively simple tools, a kiln for heat treating being the most complicated tool you need. Or here is a cool little textural piece. And then here, see that. So this is actually a piece of hardened tool steel, and this is the die that I use to make this kind of rocky granite texture, as I call it. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff here. We're going to be playing with a bunch of these. I'll bring these to class. So we'll get to play with some of them, and then got some other little dies like this as well. So that's just a very small snippet of all of the things that I make, all of the things that the press can do. And I really feel like it's pretty limitless. So yeah, it's a really amazing, fun tool to work with.
Can you show us your press and how you store your things and how they're lined up and how you keep them organized?
Oh, yeah, organization's not my strong point, but I will show you here. So, yeah, this is my press corner, and got here. This is kind of my workhorse 20-ton press, and got a 55-ton press. So a lot of coined pieces, a lot of kind of the really super high details done on the 55-ton press. And then we have a high-speed 20-ton and another electric 20-ton. So part of this is just for, you know, demos and educational purposes, why I have 4 presses. And then this one here is a 150-ton hydraulic press. So when you're getting into very highly detailed work, such as coining, surface area matters. And the bigger the piece you want to do, the bigger the press you need. So that's why I have a 150-ton press here. But yeah, and then a lot of the tools, you know, we've just got laid out here. I don't even think I have all of the tools around, actually out here. But then there's lots of things like these are mushroom formers, great for doming things. I've also actually sunk vessels using these. And then here, probably some of the tools I use the most, these are all sorts of different bracelet formers. So these are really cool, big, heavy duty steel, can form anything you want with them pretty much. Also use them just for forming pendants, earrings, stuff like that. You'll see like these pieces here. Sorry, I'm not sure why the focus on Zoom is kind of being tricky. So, do you guys, should we do a little demo?
Sounds good.
All right.
Anybody have any questions, please put them in the chat.
I'm going to start with the 55-ton press here. It is going to be loud.
I don't know, Peter. We don't have one of those. Would you bring one with you?
Okay, I'll do it on the 20-ton. Yeah, I'll just carry it in my luggage. It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
lightweight. Yeah. Here, we'll do it over here actually, because I don't need 55 tons for this one.
Okay.
It's just a force of habit.
Use the biggest hammer you have, right?
Always, always. All right. So here is my granite die, again, hardened tool steel. This piece of 12 gauge sterling silver. I'm gonna put that right on top there. This goes in, and then I have in the press here, you can see this is a coining punch and a coining support block. So these are all hardened, tempered. That just really helps them to withstand the pressures that this process entails. So
You generally
Here we go.
anneal your metal.
yeah, for coining, annealing is always going to help. And let's press it. All right, so that was difficult. Took me a ton of time. And now you can see.
If you wanted to make your own die, you would anneal the steel and carve it and then reharden it.
Yeah, you can actually you buy it annealed. So yeah, you just get it in its annealed raw state, and you can carve it, engrave it. This was actually stamped. This die with a couple of different hand stamps that I made, and I sat there. It probably took me 3-4 hours to stamp it, to get it how I wanted. And then you harden and temper it. And I've had this one since 2015. I don't know how many thousands upon thousands of pieces I've used, and I like the textural pieces because I can stamp something out like this, and then I can use it in different compositions and different shapes, etc. Yeah, I use A2 tool steel. That tends to be the easiest, best one. It hardens the easiest as well. So, sorry, I don't know if people saw that. John had a question about what kind of tool steel I was using. So, all right. Any other questions on that? Let me show you. I'm going to grab something real quick as well. All right, and so this is kind of one of the simplest die forms. This is called a silhouette die or a matrix die. And this was made by a friend of ours, David Anderson, and he made this really cool little perfume bottle. So really just beautiful, elegant, simple die. This really just takes, honestly, once you get good at it, 3 to 4 minutes to cut one of these out and start pressing. So yeah, kind of a really cool form in this nice little perfume bottle, little dauber there. So yeah, I showed you the steel die, and then this is kind of the other end of the spectrum in terms of die technology. All right, any questions there?
Yes, I took a workshop before, and when we used the silhouette die, there was also I think a piece of rubber that went in between or something. Is that what you also use?
Yeah, polyurethane.
Polyurethane.
Polyurethane, and a lot of people have used a lot of different things. Polyurethane is pretty amazing, and you can get it in a bunch of different hardnesses. It lasts a really long time, and it really conforms to the die the best. So it kind of gives you the most repeatable, best results. But yeah, that would be the other part of kind of the in the class, I'll talk about having your like die sandwich. You have your die, you have your piece of metal, and then you have your urethane. You have this whole sandwich that you're squishing in the press together. So
okay, and in the class, would the students have the opportunity to also practice themselves, or is it all done?
yeah,
It's hands-on.
what? Oh,
For the
sorry, I didn't hear that.
students, can the students also practice? or is it all demo?
No, it's if you're in Atlanta, yeah, there'll be plenty of time to practice. So,
Okay,
yeah,
good,
and we'll
thanks.
have multiple presses set up, and I'll probably be bringing a bunch of extra tools just to make sure we have, a full gamut so
Oh,
people can get
great.
to
Yeah.
experiment. Yeah. Yeah, and it's very hands-on, which is fun.
Yeah, we're gonna need
So,
some fresher urethane. Our urethane is kind of a little beat, so we definitely need to buy some new urethane from you. So we'll get you
yeah.
to bring that with you when you come.
Yeah, no, that sounds good. We'll touch base on that, make sure I bring enough. It's a consumable. You can see this side. This is me using it improperly, but it does get beat up. This side's nice and shiny and good. And I was going to show you if you all want to do a quick demo just for forming a bracelet right now.
Sure, sounds good. We got time. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So we have the bracelet holder here. This is a magnetic fixture. Oh, wait, I'm skipping ahead. Not sure if anybody's ever used these blanking dies, but these are fun, really easy, quick way to chop out metal into shapes. So this is a bracelet shape that I've got here.
Yep, we have a bunch of those.
Cool. All right. And I'm just going to squish this until it pops. Yeah, that was a good loud pop this time.
Well, your phone must have muted it because we didn't hear it.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's good. And here, miraculously, I now have my bracelet blank. And this was a piece of copper that I just had sitting here. It was textured on a rolling mill. We'll also be playing with that rolling mill plates, which is just a really fun way to add texture to your work. All right. So all of the tooling just bolts up into here, 3 holes, really nice, quick and easy. This is a magnetic column assembly. And then got here an anti-clastic bracelet forming die. So pop that up in here.
We have a question about our texturing. Are we going to be using the rolling mill or the press for our texturing?
Well, we will use both because they technically are actually different techniques. I'll just gonna pop in here awkwardly. So when they're used on the press, we're usually working with very thin metal and urethane, and so we're just forming. Where on the rolling mill, we're actually coining. We're actually restructuring the crystal matrix of the metal, and getting a different cross section. In the class, I'll really nerd out on all that stuff as much as anybody wants me to. Just kind of the different techniques and the pressures involved, and every design is a little different and has, there's pros and cons to every technique. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Nerding out is good. But yeah, I'm glad someone appreciates that because I've got plenty of that. So
And will you be having tooling and stuff for sale while you're there?
possibly, yeah. If I'm going to be bringing stuff out, I will probably, instead of having to ship it back, I'll be able to offer that to everyone. So whatever I bring out, yeah, will be for sale. So that here is my die sandwich. Let me get a little better light. All right. So yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I'm just going to give you a quick demo of forming this. Real nice, quick and easy. All right, just pop that off of there really easily with the magnets. There is the first part of forming a cuff, just getting that nice kind of circular shape. Now I'm switching to a smaller die, and I'm going to turn this into a nice oval cuff bracelet. So, just a quick note about what I'm doing. So this part of the bracelet I want to keep as is, and I'm just going to be forming these two ends to kind of make it a nice oval. And see this piece here. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Almost there. All right. A little bit more just tweaking and finessing to get that final shape. But yeah, just as easy as that. And you know, I'll go back with and I'll answer your question about pressure in just a second here. But yeah, that gets me pretty much 90% of the way there. You know, another minute or so on here, I'll have it all super nice and cleaned up. But I don't want to bore you guys too much with these details right now. Again, too, one of the things I can never stress enough is that this is a piece of copper. It's pretty easy to do. You know, I could do this with a hammer. Be kind of not that fun, but it's easily doable. But the beauty of this technique is I can do this in titanium or stainless steel. A lot of friends here in the Southwest making jewelry out of like 8-gauge or even 4-gauge sheet. So super thick, like 1/4 of an inch thick silver. And that super simple technique I just showed you, really virtually the same when working with all these different materials. You know, little couple tips and tricks to thicker materials, but yeah, it's pretty amazing what you can do. Also, the beauty of the polyurethane is it's not going to mar kind of the outer surface of my metal. So if I have an overlay or if I have, you know, texture like this, hand engraved pieces, you know, again, something like this, urethane does not mar all of this fine engraved detail. And that's really, it's pretty magical, I must say. It's really cool and just gives you the ability to do so much stuff. So the pressure varies a little bit, back to your question. And in this process, I'm mostly watching what's going on here. So it's more eye-hand coordination, and I'm really not even looking at the gauge on my hydraulic pump. So more eye-hand coordination. Other processes, we get super dialed into pressure. But forming things like bracelets and rings, it's more just watching how the metal is bending, you know, and you don't want to go too far, but yeah, don't need to go, you got to go far enough. So super
You also
tough
had a
space.
question about the difference between the manual and the electric press.
Speed. So yeah, with the electric, you're going to have more speed. You have a little less finesse. So the manual press, you have a lot of finesse. You have a like insane amount of control. If anybody's used a hammer, you know, all of a sudden this is a 20-ton hammer, but with like incredible control over how you utilize that pressure. So really the only difference is on the electric is you get to do what you're doing faster. Really depends if, you know, if you're doing small production or if you're doing just one-of-a-kind pieces. The manual works amazingly well, does pretty much every single thing that the electric does. So it's not about capabilities, it's just about speed at what you're doing. Was there another question that popped up there? Chat. Oh, the super tall spacer here. That was the other thing. So this is a Mark III press. It's really designed for deep draw. And so it has a big working area, and you can actually remove this spacer, or you can just leave it in. If just doing stuff like bracelet forming, small things, I leave this in. Only when I'm doing deep draw do I actually pull the riser block out. You'll notice here the classic press does not have a spacer, but it only has 7 inches of movement here. So then we use things like aluminum blocks, like this here, to sort of space what we're doing appropriately. So,
I hate to say,
All
one
right.
of our presses is not a Bonnie Doon press at MAG. I will not mention the other brand, but I'm assuming that all of these techniques will work on both presses.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, for the most part, I think, yeah, there's been a couple other companies out there. Really, there's one other company right now, and there's just subtle differences with like spacing and how you attach tools. But pretty much, if you have a 20-ton jack in there, that's going to give you 20 tons, and that's going to be able to do all of this work. So yeah, they're all going to work quite well. Engineering wise, when you're getting into higher pressures, that's when I've really noticed a difference between how the presses are designed. But 99% of the work I'm doing is on the 20-ton press, forming and bending and stamping out little pieces of metal.
Well, thank you so much. This has been very helpful. I think we've got a few spots left in the workshop. If anyone who is watching is not, we got 20-something people watching, so 27 people watching. So I don't think we have that much space, but it's a great opportunity. Anybody else have any questions, or why don't you just unmute if you want and just ask Peter the question at this point, and we'll be wrapping up here. I've got a couple of my pieces if you're interested in seeing a couple of pieces I've done on press.
Yeah, that'd be great to see. Let's see. Anne asked.
We missed that. Say again.
Does a very old Bonnie Doon press, can it accommodate the magnet attachment that you're using? I have a manual press. Is it just a question of going to Bonnie Doon and buying it, or is it more complicated than that?
No, yeah, it's the same standard. There's like a 3 holes drilled in the top of the platen here. And that's remained standard for 33 years now, 32 years. So all the tooling works quite well. What you might need for bracelet forming is we do sell a shorter version of the fixture though, because depending on the press, and I can, if you go to my website, or I can get you my contact info, I can help you figure out exactly what you need. Some of the original old presses, they didn't have as much space here. So we made a little shorter version of this so you can still do this bracelet forming on any of the presses. Let me see, there's another chat here. Tools or supplies you need to bring to the class.
If you just said you need to supply your metal, whatever you want to work on as far as the metal, I think we pretty much have everything else.
Yeah, you should have everything else. I'll be bringing the metal kits, or like 5 little packages of copper. I'll be bringing that. And so pretty much, yeah, if you have other specific, I love working with people and kind of problem solving designs. So if you have specific pieces that you're thinking about doing with the press, drawings or works in progress, definitely bring anything like that. And yeah, I have a lot of fun kind of figuring out like, okay, what is the end goal and how do we achieve that here? We will, so Ann Wolf asked, will we be doing deep drawing in the workshop? We'll be doing some demos of deep draw. We won't be, just partly because of the time that it takes to do deep draw. It's hard in a class setting, unless we have a longer time to get everybody to be able to get really hands-on. But I will be doing pretty in-depth demos and teaching about it. So, that'll, and yeah, since there's 3-inch and 6-inch deep draw at the studio in Atlanta, which is amazing. That's a huge resource because they're not cheap tools.
Peter, are Bonnie Doon products only available through Rio, or are there more products available somewhere else?
No, just through Rio. So,
Just through Rio. Okay.
Yeah. And Rio's, I mean, they're an amazing company. I've got a ton of friends that work down there, and I've really enjoyed working with them. So they're, it's kind of nice. It allows me to do what I do best and design tools and things like that. And they kind of sell and deal with all that other stuff that I don't want to do. So it's a good relationship.
I think it was Cynthia Ide who told me that you have available more than a 6-inch deep draw. And is that true, or is that just custom work?
That would be custom. I do have one that does, I believe it's up to an 18-inch diameter disc. That's a very highly specialized one. We do have one here for sale with all the dies and stuff. So yeah,
that's also that's a 50-ton, right?
Yeah, right. Takes a different press, I guess.
That one, yeah, it's a fully custom press.
Okay.
And I didn't show you. There's another press here that is my apron's hanging on it. This is a special press designed just for deep draw, for making mostly tubing. So,
Wow.
people that are getting into this, and we've made some little ones for doing pen blanks and smaller pieces, but those are all going to be custom presses pretty much. But this one here, yeah, we'll do, up to a 6-inch disc. And we did at one point actually made one that looked identical to this, and it was 2 inches wider. So I think that one made an 8-inch disc. But that would be a custom.
I always say these tools are wonderful, and they do one thing incredibly well. So you have to be able to figure out how to make that one thing your own.
Yeah. Well, and then some of them do one thing incredibly well. Deep draw is a very specific, but then once you can take that form, you can add any other technique. So yeah, the hydraulic press pairs really well with any other technique you can dream of. And that's, I think, really what's kind of cool about it. And it really helps add dimension to pieces. I'm going to demo one more fun little tool. This is something that I worked on for the first 6 months of this year. Got my handle here. So and this is kind of cool too, because we are not limited to using just the hydraulic press. So these are little mini coining dies. And the cool thing about them, I showed you a couple like this one here. They are actually small enough that we can just do this with a hammer. So I have a little piece of silver shot, sterling silver shot here, got hardened steel punch, and now also got a fun prototype hammer I made myself. But with a couple whacks here, I can form this piece. Okay, that probably didn't need to hit it so many times, but I don't know if you can see, it's so tiny, but it's this really cool little marquee shape. You can see here are a bunch of different pieces made with the dies. So using gold, all sorts of other kind of fun techniques here. But yeah, that's again another fun tool that I really enjoyed working on and developing this year. So we'll get to play with those. I'll be bringing some of those to Atlanta, of course. Any other questions?
I think we've really used you well. So thank you very much. It's been a wonderful our sip and shop. I hope it whetted everyone's appetite for what we're going to be doing and what you can do at MAG when we've got the equipment there, and you just have to be checked out on it if you want to use it. And we have a couple of rules around using our equipment in the studio. Again, you got to be checked out because it is a powerful tool and we don't want anybody to get hurt. We have a bunch of safety things we ask you to do. But we'll be going over that in the studio.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Hey, Victoria. Didn't see you on here, but yeah, Victoria just posted or on the chat too. Formed a filigree cuff with a 20-ton electric press. So, that's amazing. Yeah, to me, I mean, we've played with some filigree before, but the fact that the press can effortlessly form filigree without them damaging it's really, really cool. So, yeah, thanks, Alan, for everything, and I hope to see all of you, either virtually or in Atlanta. And then also, yeah, if you can't make it there, you can't do the virtual thing, you always come out to Taos and visit us too. It's not a bad place to come visit. So, cool.
Thanks. This is great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, have a good night, and thanks for tuning in from all the way over to England.
Alan, you're muted in case I see you trying to tell us something.
No, I just wanted to show, I'm holding up, these are a couple of my,
Oh, cool.
some of my bracelets.
Mm.
Rio's got this wonderful edging that I use on some things. It's a slotted wire that works
Cool,
very
cool.
well on
Oh,
the metal. So
nice. Oh,
looking forward to the workshop, and we'll see everyone there. And I think we're goodbye.
All
all
right.
right. Good night,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Excellent.
Hi, Hollis. Bye, Barbara.
Alan, Lisa wants to know if there's a good place to stay, a motel nearby.
Oh, not that I would recommend. No. I'm sure there are. I have not, since I live in Atlanta, I have not done research on it. If she wants to contact me, we can probably work something out. I know there's a couple of people who might be coming into town. So you can contact me. My email is on the website, I think, through Mag, and we can do some research on that, because I think Peter's going to be staying in a place someplace too. So, and we can also ask
Yeah.
members. We can also ask members if they have housing, if they're open to housing people who come into town. We can ask people about that. Great. Thank you, everybody.
Cool. All right. Thanks. Good night.
Right.